Welcome to Her Wealth Unscripted. We're your hosts, Susan Jones
and Sara Gelsheimer. We believe financial decisions are most powerful when they're made with intention and grounded in what matters most to you.
This is a space for real conversations about money, life, and the moments that change everything.
Because it's more than numbers, it's the life they make possible.
You know, the other thing that I've seen a lot of times in working with clients and even friends that, oftentimes because it is the woman in a two gender relationship that does a lot of the household spending. So they're the ones that do the Target runs or, buy the kids their clothes and all these different things that sometimes they get what I would say unfairly labeled as the spender of the family because they're literally the one at Target. And so when we joke about, how much people spend and doing these different things, it's not so much that they're spending necessarily on themselves, but they are the one that's doing the spending. And so sometimes I feel like guilt plays a little bit of a role into that mental load too, because not only, is someone thinking through all these different things that need to be done, but oftentimes that spending, even if it is for the household good, kind of comes back to them as though it's their spending, even though really, in my mind, it's family spending. Is that something that you see, Michelle, or that?
Yes. I think that's definitely true. And I think, playing into the mental load of that too is knowing, oh my gosh, kid number 3 needs a new water bottle. Kid number 4 outgrew all of her pants, whatever it is, it's keeping all of that too. And then doing the spending on it and then managing the children's expectations around the spending. Like, okay, you can get this, but your brother's not getting it because it's your turn to get this or whatever. So I feel like there's so much there. And I think it's, again, another problem that could be solved with communication between the spouses to say, this is what I'm spending, this is what I have spent, this is why. But it seems like you're right. A lot of times women are just the ones getting it taken care of, and there's not a lot of time for that loop back around conversation.
Yeah, I feel like with the financial aspect of it, in conjunction with the mental load, I find that so much of it is more anxiety around holding it all in your head than actually getting it down and making some of those decisions. So, I'm trying to think of an example, but a lot of times whenever you actually just ask the question, actually address it and put it down, it's a lot less daunting and complicated than you were making it in your head. So a lot of times if you just keep it in your head, whatever it is, whether it's a financial decision or any type of area that feels just daunting, because it's a lot. Yeah. A lot of times if you just get it out of your head, then that is the first step and can help you actually tackle that problem or issue.
I totally agree. Yes, it's even like a secret if you can't sleep at night to just sit up or go in another room and write down the list of all the things that you're thinking so you can tell your brain, go back to sleep. We don't have to worry about this right now. We're just thinking of your to-do list, any of that stuff. I feel like anytime you bring the invisible into the visible, it just gives you a sense of relief because you don't have to remember everything.
Right. Yeah. So we talk with a lot of women in different life stages, especially those going through, major life transitions, whether it's divorce or the loss of a spouse. Are there any, stages of life in particular that you find, Michelle, that this mental load is more prevalent than others?
I do. One sec. Sorry, I got to grab a Kleenex. Much like you, I work with people often when they're going through a big change. So maybe they're changing their career, they're getting divorced, they're getting married, they're having another baby, some of those big life changes. So I think anytime there's a big change, the mental load just goes up. I also see, I would say what's most typical in my clients is seasonally speaking. So, the holidays, the end of school, the beginning of school, all those times when there's so much to remember and think about. And then obviously like a child going to college, big changes in your family seem to be really stressful. My son's a senior in high school, and I just thought yesterday, I just need to make a list of all of the things that I need to make sure he knows before he goes to college, because I keep thinking of like, money stuff. He's never really had to budget anything, he gets allowance, he spends it on fast food and whatever he wants, and he's never been able to. So I'm thinking, I'm the one thinking ahead 6 months from now, what's he going to need? Then have to figure out, will the bank account he has now work, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like when you have a change going on within your family, there's always a new mental load of who needs what, when do they need it, how do I approximate what that's going to be? And then, of course, we end up usually being the ones to implement it too.
It's funny as we're talking about the mental load, I have to say it's a little bit exhausting just having the conversation about the mental load. And
yes, totally agree.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, Michelle, what you just said really hit me because, we're starting now for your senior in high school. And so what that also means is you're going to have that same conversation with yourself so many times before it actually comes, into play.
Yeah.
And then, when something goes wrong, you're going to probably, at least I would, in my head thinking like, but we've been talking about this for however long.
Exactly.
And then, and then part of it is like, well, part of that time you've just been talking to yourself in your head about it, but like you knew it was coming. And
yes, exactly.
I'm now, I'm projecting because my teenagers.
Yes. And now suddenly you're feeling stressed out about my mental load. I'm really hoping someone has already written a book on this topic. All the things you need to teach your child before they leave for school.
I guarantee there's a book out there.
Yes,
I know. I'm going to find one for you, Michelle, and send
Thank you.
Actually, for him, actually, not for you.
Yeah, exactly. But then, I'll have to make sure he reads it, follow up, ask him about it, have a little book club about it.
Right.
Yes.
That's exactly right.